Oh my God, we are 1 month away from the Q4 madness. That is the busiest time on Amazon, and today I want to share with you the 4 things I'm going to be doing to get my business ready to do £100,000 revenue in December 2020. Stay tuned. You might be thinking that I'm actually thinking it's November 2020, but I'm not. This is my plans for September 2020. Why? Well, quite simply, this is the month before quarter 4. And if you don't know, quarter 4 is like the busiest time you're going to get in e-commerce. And if you do it right, you can seriously make some good money. Good friend of mine, Luke Dugan, on his own, by the way, last year, £84,000. And we're not even talking just buying. That includes prep, ship, the lot. £84,000 in revenue in 1 month over Q4. And if you watch any of the kind of graphs of people over the year is generally Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. It is like next level stuff. So be ready, be prepared. That is going to help you get where you need to be. So if you don't know, I am on a mission right now to do £1 million pretty much by the end of next year. Now, as part of that, the kind of sub goal that I've got is to do £100,000 in revenue December 2020. I'll drop a link up there so you can have a look at that video and how I'm going to break it down for the 1 million. Now look, I did £37,000 last month and we didn't grow. We're pretty much flatlined on the same level the month prior. We've got a long way to go. There's a couple of reasons behind that, but we are setting up ourselves to get in a better position. Today, I'm going to go through the 4 things that I'm going to be doing in September 2020. Let's get started. Number 1, I'm going to be hiring and training a brand new admin VA for my business. Number 2, my purchasing manager took some time off last week, but interesting enough, what I saw were some processes, some systems that I wasn't too happy with and I thought we could do better. So we had a meeting this day, and I want to talk through what we looked at and how we're going to improve that. Maybe you can learn some things from that as well. Number 3, I want to be aligning my VA's targets with the overall business goal, and I'm going to talk through exactly how I'm going to do that, and I will actually tell you how I'm setting those targets and what they look like, breaking it down from a larger goal, and that's going to be helpful for you thinking about what you want to achieve in Q4. And then finally, number 4. Number 4 is going big. This is doing my Xmas analysis deal review, looking for all those products that I want to be buying, ready to invest big to make even bigger money when they literally fly out Amazon's warehouses. So, top 4 things there that I'm going to be doing. Let's get started. So look, number 1 is hiring a new admin assistant. My very first VA who I've ever hired in my business has now left the business. She's been with me 3 years and she has done an amazing job, and I still speak to her outside of work, but interesting enough, she's decided to move on. She wanted to focus on something else. When she first started, she was the very first VA in my business, and now we've got, I think, 22, don't quote me, but 22 VAs in the wider business as a whole. And actually, we've changed massively. What I've done basically is I've spoken to the VA Academy. Obviously, it's a service that I run about hiring VAs. I'll drop a link down below. If you're interested in manual sourcing VA, you can have a look. But I've just asked them quite simply, can you hire me an admin VA? And they've gone out there and found me a great person. And what I'm going to then do is train them up. So right now, I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning and I was doing like 3 hours of training with my new admin VA, just making sure that they are right, getting everything they need to do, and that the quality is there. So I'm going to train them on 2 areas, and what I will do is I'll create another video on this about how I'm doing it in more detail. Quite simply, the 2 areas I'm going to be looking at are, number 1, operations. So that is shipments, working with the warehouse, making sure all stock's accounted for, dealing with suppliers, getting refunds, returns if there's problems, and then also making sure that stock's in, and also along with Seller Central, making sure that all works. And the second area I'm going to be looking at with her and training her up is on accounts, payroll, and holidays. So she manages that side of my business. She works with my accountants. She basically generates the reports, the financial reports, provides them to me, and then obviously I can ask her questions and she can go in and get the answers. So 2 areas, operations and finance. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I think this is maybe my 5th coffee of the day. Number 2, my purchasing manager took some time off and I had to do the purchasing for 2 whole days. I know, outrageous. I'm supposed to be working 4 hours a week. I'm really grateful. He does a fantastic job actually. He manages my whole business for me and he's a well-deserved time off. Also as well, what it allowed me to do was to see into his part of the operation, how it's working. And you know what? I found some areas that I wasn't too happy with, nothing against him or what he's doing. It's the fact that I thought we could probably do it better, we could be more efficient. And the one thing I'm learning is that as we scale up our business, obviously the processes we do at maybe £10,000, maybe at £30,000, aren't going to be as efficient, aren't going to be as effective when we're starting to look to do £100,000. What am I going to do? Well, quite simply today, this morning, I had a phone call with him and we walked through those processes together, these areas of concern. And what did we do? Quite simply, I talked about everything that I was a bit worried, not so much worried about, but said, I think we could do this better. I think, I challenged it, I challenged different processes, and I asked him why did he do certain things certain ways. He came back to me, told me his answers, but also told me other problems he was facing. What do? We basically wrote a, what do we want it to be? We just sat there with a Google Doc and wrote, what do we want to change? How do we want it to be? And then what we did, ordered that in the which one is taking the most amount of time. And then what I'm going to do going away now is just spend some quality time on fixing those problems, improving those processes, improving those workflows. And you know what? It's going to speed him up. He's going to get faster. That's going to allow him to buy more stock. And obviously it's going to make our business more efficient. So number 2, quite simply, I am working with my purchasing manager to improve the processes and workflows that he goes through, looking to seek efficiency savings in time, but also as well to allow him to do what he does best, even better. And you know what? As we scale, that's going to make a real difference. Question for you lot. So, as you know, this YouTube is about me sharing about what I'm doing in my Amazon business. Now, what I try and encourage you to do is to think about your business. I'm sharing this because it's as much a spotlight on me and my business and focusing on the future as it is about your business and helping you. So the question I want to ask you is, what top 3 things are you doing in September 2020? Drop them down below. And you know what? It's the people who write them down, it's the people who say, here's what I'm going to be focusing on. They create that change. Now you might be thinking something like, oh, I'm going to be buying stock. Yeah, we're all going to be buying stock. But what you're looking for are those things that have a defined end time, maybe processes, maybe certain things which you can focus on, you can improve, that is going to make you even more efficient. So, top 3 things that you're doing in your Amazon arbitrage business, September 2020, drop it down below. Step number 3, VA alignment. Now I mentioned it earlier, I'm looking to $1 million next year, and that's a big goal. But as part of that is I need to start pushing the boundaries of the business. Now, normally, I talked about let's try and achieve 100,000 as an ongoing revenue. Now my challenge for that is December 2020, I want to be hitting 100,000. Why? Because if I can do 100,000 in 2020 and see what that looks like, I'm probably going to slow down a bit early part of next year, Q1, but then I can pick back up again and continue to hit those numbers in 2021. What I'm looking to do is to say, while I've got that goal of 100,000 in my Amazon arbitrage business for December 2020, how does that break down on an individual VA level? So what I want to do now is just go through that process with you and obviously see how I'm setting those targets. So quite simply, in my business right now, I actually have 3 sourcing VAs. I used to have 2, we've just hired a new one, started this week. I'm just using the numbers that we're currently been working on in the past. Now, generally speaking, my purchasing manager finds, and I say finds in very inverted commas, replenishments, reorders, double the amount of stock in cash value that my sourcing VAs do. Now you might be thinking, well, yours is a bit different, etc, etc. Well, interesting enough, my purchasing manager pushes a lot of the reorder replenishment back to the VAs to go find, and then they can resubmit them as deals. That's fine, we don't care. At the end of the day, the business grows. Overall, my VA purchasing manager is equivalent to about 2 VAs in the number they're sourcing, and then in addition to that, I've got 3 actual sourcing VAs. So if we were to talk about individual staff units, we've got the 3 sourcing VAs and the 2 equivalent sourcing VAs from the purchasing manager. That makes 5 units. We are looking to do £100,000 worth of revenue. Get the calculator out. So £100,000 worth of revenue is roughly going to be about £50,000 worth of stock. So £50,000 worth of stock. And remember, we've got about 5 sourcing units. So divided by 5, that is going to be 10,000. So £10,000 of stock we're going to be looking to source to buy in, I say in December, it'll be January, or sorry, November. But then that's per VA, and then basically divide that by 4, that's roughly 4 weeks. So divided by 4, we're looking at about £2,500 worth of spend per week per VA. So my purchasing manager will be twice that. Now that might sound quite a lot to you, or it might not sound much, but the idea is that I've now got a target to aim towards. Now what I can do is I can look at the reality of the situation of what they're currently spending per VA, and then I can say, how can we make this better? Now, interestingly enough, right now, the volume sales per SKU is going to be a lot lower, but during Q4, it's going to be much higher because of the nature of the product we're buying and what we're looking to buy. And also my next step that I'll talk about is number 4, that's going to make a real big impact on how much we're buying. So right now, I know exactly how much each VA needs to be sourcing in deals that we can purchase every single week. And if we can do that, then we should hit our goal of £100,000 in December 2020. Quick question for you. Are you looking at hiring a VA for your December madness? There's a lot of opportunity out there, and I know a lot of people are. We've certainly had an increase in the FastTrackFBA Academy. If you are, drop it down below. Let me know. Are you looking at hiring a VA or not? I'm interested just to get the thoughts. Are you looking to scale your business up over this really busy period? It could potentially be very profitable. Right, the 4th and final thing I'm going to be doing in September 2020 is what's known as my Christmas or Xmas deal analysis review. Now, quite simply, this is going over all the deals I did last year, all those opportunities I looked at, where I bought them from, what I bought them for, and what sold really well. And I'm going to be doing the keeper analysis on all time, looking at what happens to the number of sellers during the Christmas period, especially around mid-November, early December. Does it start dropping? And if it does, I'm going to make a note of that ASIN. And I'm also going to get a note of roughly what do I want the buy price to be. I can do the calculations now, looking at the sale price historically. And then it's going to give me a list of ASINs. It's going to give me a list of buy prices of stock that I want to be looking out for. And you know what? I'm going to challenge a VA every single day in the latter half of Q4, or even in the middle part, to be looking for these sources, be focusing on them, and to say that is what we want to be buying. I'll drop a link to the video just up there of me actually going through this in a lot more detail. I do live screen shares and I talk about all that. So if it's something you're interested in, we also as well have is a paid for downloadable content of all the deals that we found in 2019 through the FastTrackFBA deal service. This is a deal service you can sign up for. And in addition, we've broken out the Q4 deals so you can look at them, just on their own. So that's going to be a real value add. That's going to help you maybe if you haven't done Q4 before. I said it earlier, what are you doing in September 2020? Drop down the 3 areas that you are going to be looking at in the comments below. And you know what? Tony Robbins talks about this, whereby if you write something down, you are far more likely to achieve it, make it a reality and make it happen. And you know what? Our business is about just pushing forward, just solving those new problems. And first thing first, before we can solve them, we've got to identify them, and then obviously we can action them. So drop the top 3 things that you're looking at in September 2020 down below. Now that is all from me. Hopefully you have found that information useful, and oh my god, I say that all the time, but hey, you know what? I share these videos as much about a spotlight on my business to help you in your Amazon business. So hit the like button if you do like that. And what I will say is obviously have a great September 2020. I look forward to joining Q4 2020 with you soon. Thank you very much.